guys, welcome back to Dance Danseur. It's such an energetic title. I love it. It makes me feel very suave. Back at Clockwork Noodles here today talking about episode 3, the episode that made me cry. I think about today's episode just made me go, oh wow, we're really pulling on some very strong storytelling techniques. Suddenly my favourite character has shifted entirely. A lot of things came together this week's episode and a lot of surprises. I knew eventually that Junpei would have to come clean, but I didn't know when he would do it and how he'd do it. Wasn't expecting it to be the way that he did. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed because of course we are aiming for 1k. We're going to start doing live streams. We're going to start doing some streaming. I am slowly working on some behind the scene things right now that you guys aren't seeing, but it's going to make life better in the long run, I promise. So let's get going because I've got a big page of notes and I want to discuss it, and I really enjoyed the episode today. And I have to admit, I watched 2 animes that I break down on a channel on the same day, and I definitely preferred one against the other one. We are opening back with Junpei still trying to play the idea of manly. We see him mocking a friend for going to choir. It does turn into something sad this week as we turn a blind eye to literal bullying. As much as you don't like somebody, seeing somebody bullied, not a nice thing. And this week's episode, I think the reason why this week's episode really got me is because I was that kid. I was Mori in this episode. I was the one being bullied. Part of me just didn't want to react, so I did just take it on the chin. Mori in glasses really got my attention. Mori's design is really pretty. I also think it's a bit weird that they made him do a hello, my name is, despite the fact that he had already been on the register, but he just wasn't showing up. I guess it was the first time he showed up. It means he was on a register but never showed up whatsoever during an entire term time. My idea initially was that this was part of the promise, so we don't know what the promise was, but Mori made a promise with the tutor. She wants to get Junpei competitive. Mori is that rival. I can't figure out what Mori's gaining from the promise just yet, whether it's just he wants to dance, whether he only wants to dance, because it said that he only has dance. This week really hurt because we find out that Mori is foreign. We see the extent of what it means to have been forced into, say, ballet, extreme ballet, and the idea of isolation and how damaging isolation can be to a young child. Mori doesn't know the language. There's already this massive barrier between somebody who's very poor at communicating, hasn't had much experience communicating. All of a sudden, you've got a character who's isolated, feels alienated, and everyone is mocking and bullying him in a language you don't even understand. You start to really feel for that character, and I do feel for Mori. Mori is actually my favourite character at the moment because of how relatable he is and how almost tragic. I just want to give him a hug. He's a character who I feel just needs a hug. He didn't ask to be pushed into ballet at a young age. And Mori was said to have never come to school, so I do find it just particularly weird that he does do the intro. The feels suddenly set in as we start to see how scary Mori's world really is. And it's the fact that he tries to cover his head because he's terrified, or people keep trying to jump out and upset him, or he's stumbling around. You can't just see nothing more than just a lonely person who is being bullied, who doesn't understand the situation, who doesn't want to react. The fact that he doesn't react gets him more bullying, but I was always told that if you react, that gets more bullying. So it basically just proves that no matter what you do, nothing's going to help and there's no win for bullying. Now he's just getting bullied by Junpei's friends. These were initially his friends. Obviously, he does get abandoned in the end because friends do have a habit of outgrowing you. The anime is showing us harshness of growing up, coming of age story. Junpei witnesses bullying and does nothing. If you do nothing, and sure, you're not contributing to the bullying, but you are also enabling it. You're also part of the problem because you're not trying to stop the problem. And sure, it's not his duty to stop it, but they are his friends. They will listen to him. If he made an effort to say, hey, he's boring, let's go earlier, they would have left him alone. We do get a reference to the pen, Apple Pen. It's been a very long time since I heard Apple Pen. Thank you, anime, for putting that song back into my head. All the way through this episode, I was just like, when is Junpei gonna do the right thing? Surely he's gonna do the right thing. He's being manly to step up for his father who is no longer around to protect his family. He takes such a long time to do the right thing. It takes a lot of time to suddenly register. Praise the storytelling aspect this week. The episode really just shone for me. It really is the best episode. Seeing Junpei struggling to find his own way. Part of him probably realised that as soon as he announced he was going to do ballet, he was aware he was going to get bullied. I do think some of that might have been playing in on him. But if you keep pushing and pushing, even the most kindest people will eventually snap. Mori eventually snaps when we see his mother brought into the picture. to protect his mother and doesn't want to hear people bullying her as well. So he's probably fine with taking the bullying as long as it's focused on him. But as soon as you start saying, oh yeah, we're going to make fun of your mother, you've crossed the barrier that even he can't come back. Like people who grow up with rich parents or famous people, they end up having a very high expectation on them to do the same. Some of these rich celebrities and their kids, they end up having problems or drug problems, drinking problems, struggle to personify with people. It would explain why Maury is essentially the way he is, the way he can't interact with people. Junpei this week just made me sad. It made me really sad to see him doing absolutely nothing. Seeing him completely turning his back, then expecting to be welcomed or expecting to be speaking to people. The fact that he tries to talk to Godaya, dude, you blanked her, you stopped coming, you also left her on a very sad note and walked off and then vanished. Him expecting anything different from what he gets of her running away, trying to avoid her, and then turning up at the studio and getting blanked. It's like, oh, dude, what do you expect? It was a hard episode to watch because we're dealing with the topic of bullying and we're dealing with Maury who isn't reacting, just taking it. That's really all you can do. And it's really sad, again, as we always see in anime, teachers just don't do anything, and it's really sad because we're also seeing Junpei, and the idea of being cool and manly is just simply toxic, cowardly. Junpei starts to realise that dancing in private is just a cowardly thing, and that itself, it's not a manly thing to do. Teachers this week allowing bullying to go on for way too long. As soon as he was pushed out in a dress, they should have intervened, they should have cut. There should have been more teachers around. Irritating to watch animes and get angry, but at the same time, I understand it because I'm like, yeah, to be fair, teachers can be pretty useless. In my experience with my bullying and stuff, they didn't do a great deal. But there were times they did. I just feel like in a situation where he's on a stage, there should be teachers watching this because it feels like a festival or an assembly. As soon as he got out onto the stage in a dress, they should have known something was wrong. They should have already had a pre-programmed list of what was going to happen, and they would have known that it was bullying. And everyone's laughing, and it's like, why are you doing nothing? Why are you just standing there? I am officially rooting for Maury. Maury is now my favourite character. Probably going to upset a few people, but I love him as a character, and honestly, I really do relate to him because that level of bullying is just horrible, and nobody should have to deal with that level of bullying. But the spontaneous ballet is the most bravest thing I have seen in the anime. I'm going to change the idea of what manliness means. It's the idea of being brave, the idea of protecting people, where it should be about protecting the people around you. It should be about being true to yourself. And I think Maury is more of a man than Junpei this week because of the moment he just bursts into ballet in front of the crowd that has been jeering at him. He ends up taking something so negative, all this bullying, all this negative energy, and turning it into something so powerful. It's also the first time we see him dancing with such a powerful expression on his face. He looks angry, he looks powerful, he looks concentrated. The dancing is raw. He is so raw with all of his movements. I love it. It's beautiful. And it moves Junpei to tears, absolutely moves him to tears. The episode also got me. This is the moment when I might have been crying a bit because I just see Maury doing what he wants to do despite how everyone around him looks at him. He just takes it and takes it and takes it because he doesn't react. He doesn't want to react. That's not the point. Just don't react. He only reacts when somebody he cares about is threatened. There's nothing wrong with that, aside not standing up for himself. Sometimes standing up for yourself will just get the same result. He's just going to isolate himself. We see it when he smashes the phone into the floor. It just gets worse. The bullying starts to become more and more physical at that point. The moment Junpei comes out, becomes clean, is a really weird way. I really wasn't expecting him to just take the tights and put them on his face and then go, yeah, I'm also going to do ballet, guys. I'm sorry, I'm also not doing this. I couldn't take him seriously, so I was a bit shocked that the friends suddenly actually understood what he meant and took it at face value and actually went, oh, he's actually telling the truth. Honestly thought they would take it as a joke. I was like, he's making fun of this guy. Ha ha ha, this is funny. It's a really weird way to do it. The friends initially take it pretty well, despite the fact that he does get kicked out quite quickly from the chat. I do hope the bullying for Maury stops. At least maybe Junpei now, because he's going to maybe get some bullying too, or they might not even bother with him. He at least will maybe try and stop what's going on with Maury, or maybe the kids are just going to lose interest in both of them. Who knows? We see Junpei now removing himself from soccer, removing himself from the idea of the band. He just needs to stop martial arts. I think he actually wasn't going to either of them, so the martial arts thing's gone. We're here. We're now at the point when Junpei has decided that ballet is what he's going to focus on. He's finally decided what it is to be his path, what his path is going to be. He's going to dedicate himself. He shaved his head, shocked because you saw Mori and you're jealous because Mori might be the prince and you know Mori's got hair. So at what point did you think, that's it, I'm going to shave my head? I was shocked. I am sharing the tutor's anger and shock as well because I don't think I've seen bald male dancers, but I mean, he could start a trend. Who knows? He could start a trend and his hair might grow back. I'm always jealous by guys. Guys' hair seems to grow really, really easily. But then there's my hair. I cut it. It takes like half a year to maybe get an inch. Maybe if I'm lucky, maybe 2 years. It just takes forever and it's sad. My hair doesn't grow as fast as I really would like it. So what now? We are now finally working towards something. He's actually dedicated himself. How quick is Junpei going to pick up on everything? Is he going to be able to get over the lifting thing? Is he actually going to be ready for the festival and be there in time? What's the rest of his life going to be like? What's his school life now going to be like? Is he going to get bullied? Is he not going to get bullied? Is his relationship with Mori now going to be bridgeable? Is he actually going to extend an olive leaf? This anime is good. I like this anime. This anime is actually slowly creeping for me. The storytelling is amazing. I love the characters. I love the way that the art looks. I think the art looks absolutely gorgeous. This week's episode was serious. It suddenly took a serious turn. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is Mori. I bet you didn't expect him to be like this because we see him, he's going to be the arrogant rival and the kid's going to like be competitive against him. He's going to rise up against an arrogant person. But Mori's not like that in the slightest. Mori is actually, all he has is ballet. That's all he knows. That's why he takes ballet so seriously, because it's all he has. He can't speak kanji. He's alienated. He doesn't have friends. You understand the character a lot more. The character suddenly has depth, and I was crying for him. This anime has done amazing things. I'm really enjoying it, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another video. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, please. You are important. Make sure that you know that, and you give yourself some time just to realize the good things that you are capable of doing. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.